Hi, I'm Margaret Lewin, and welcome to Margaret Lewin Quilting. Today we're going to be working on the Maple Star block from our block of the month, which is called Summer Moon. We're using Moda Fabrics, and I have all three of the sizes of the Maple Star block cut out and ready to go. So I'm going to start by making my flying geese. And for those, I'm going to be using this white fabric and this blue fabric. I will be drawing a line diagonally from one corner to the other, and then I'll be sewing on that line. I'll be back in just a minute to show you exactly what that looks like so that we can get our blocks squared up and move on to the next. I like to draw all my blocks at once. So you can see here I've got the wrong side of my blue fabric up, and I'm going to just simply draw a diagonal line from one corner to the next. I'll do that on every single one of my blue pieces, and then I will line them up on the right sides together so that I can continuously sew these one right after the other. So here I go, just laying them up, getting them ready to go. So I'll let you watch that. Once you've got all your lines drawn, you're going to sew these just to your right, it'll show the left on this, of your drawn line so that you can then fold that over. And here you'll see it in just a second. Here are all my flying geese. This time I'm showing them to you prior to squaring them up. And you can see they definitely need to be squared up. So the next step is I'm going to get these squared up, and then we can move on to the next step. Right. I'm going to show you or explain to you an easy way to square these up. What you're going to do is take your ruler, and you need to find out what that point is right there. How many inches from the edge to the center it's going to be. So grab a calculator or do it in your head, whatever it takes. And I'm going to so the first thing I'm going to do is figure out what that number is to get to the center of the block. So take your block, divide it in half. On this one, it'll be the block width. I'll divide that in half, and then I'm going to take my ruler with the 45-degree diagonal line, and I'm going to set it down so that my mark, which is oh, this is one of my small ones. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong size one. So what the first thing you're gonna do is find out what that center mark is supposed to be. So if this is 3 inches, your center mark right here should be 1.5. So you need to find your 1.5, which for me it's right here, and your 45-degree line. So the very first thing I'm going to do is take and line up my ruler on the 45-degree, and I will trim up one and across. So I'm going to do that first. On these blocks, you're not going to have a whole lot of extra to trim off. So once I've done that, now I know that I can take the size of what my block is to be, which I know it is 3 inches by 1 3/4, and I'm just going to take it like that, and I'm going to clean this up, and then my block is squared up. I'll do that again for you in just a second. I need to square up my large block, so here are one of my largest blocks, and this is a flying geese. What I need to do is determine exactly what that mark is there, the inches. I know my width on this one's supposed to be 3 inches, so right here should line up at 1.5. So I'm going to stick my 1.5 inch, you can see right here on my creative grids, there's like this arrow that points to my spot. I'm also going to line up my 45-degree line. I'll go up the left side, or I'm sorry, the right side, and across the top, and you can see I'm just trimming little teeny pieces off. I'm going to rotate it, and now I know that my block is supposed to be 3 inches, so I've got my 3 here, by 1 3/4. And I've got my 1 3/4. So I'm going to come out this side and across the top. And that is my squared up block. I'm all set to move on to the next. Right, the next thing that I'm going to do is take my geese, which are all right here. Let me flip them in the right direction. And then I'm going to take these squares. I'm just going to lay one right on top of the other. And then I'm going to sew 1/4 inch. I am going to sew on this side so that as I'm stitching I can make sure that I'm getting this point right here, and then that way I won't lose the point of my geese. So I'll be back once I've done that, and once we've done that it is time to sew these blocks. So I'll do this, and then the next thing I'll do is sew these 2 blocks together. So I'll just put them right sides together, and I'll do that on all, what do we have, 4 of these, okay? Once I've done that, I'll come back and show you where I'm at. I am ready to put my blocks together. This is your basic 9 patch. If I spread it apart, you can really see it. Do not hesitate to square these up. You may need to, and don't hesitate to do it because it'll help your block go together easier. So these two, these two, these two, then I'll add these. Then I'll sew all 3 rows together, and I'll come back in just a minute and show you what it looks like. And here are my 3 maple star blocks. Here's the front of all of them, and here's the back. I want to tell you how I press these. On these, when I made the flying geese and attached it to the background fabric, I did press it according to the directions towards the polka dot. Everything else I pressed open. You can see I did that here again. And on the littlest one again, I pressed towards the polka dot, but all the other seams were pressed open. So here is our maple star block. The next one, then let me see, what's our next one? Our next block is the patchwork big O. So that one will be next, and I will see you again in just a while for that next block. Thank you for joining me for Summer Moon. Stay tuned for our next block, and I'll see you there. Thanks. Bye-bye.